What's happening, MJ traders and investors? It's Rod with the Power Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth. Today is Friday. It's May 6th. Hope you're well today and happy Friday. In this video, going to do a short video. Somebody shared with me this video from Daniel Pronk, a fellow YouTuber. I wanted to come on and just discuss this video because what I thought was a truly video initially and just an overall USMJ actually turned into a HEXO bashing video as well. And this YouTuber with 200,000 subscribers bashes HEXO stock, and he didn't even mention all the facts. So I wanted to come on, just kind of set the record straight. Again, this isn't an attack at Daniel Pronk or anything like that. I'm just coming on to kind of clear up some of these things that he failed to mention. And like I said, it's not uncommon to see people bashing HEXO. Again, this isn't the first time, won't be the last time, but I wanted to come on and just correct this because, like I said, it started off as a True Leave and USMJ update. I'm not going to play this video just out of effort of time, but then he goes on to talk about when the US legalizes, how it's going to be huge for US MSOs. He also didn't really mention that it could be huge for LPs as well. We know that VFF, the CEO, said that he believes that they're going to be able to grow and ship across state lines once federally permissible. We know that Canopy has a deal with Acreage, and we know that MedMen has a deal with Tilray. So we have all the writing on the wall that we're going to potentially have LPs entering the competition space as well into the US. Something to keep in mind as well is when these MSOs do see federal legalization, there's going to be huge CapEx requirements to expand nationally, right? Something that he mentions True Leave as the main topic of the video doesn't really have to deal with right now. And also the prices are just not sustainable in my opinion. Again, this is a full disclosure. I own MSOs, but I own LPs as well. I own retailers. I own ETFs, so picks and shovels. Again, this isn't knocking on MSOs. I'm a full supporter, but I own more LPs at the moment than I do MSOs dollar-wise. And simply because I don't think that it's sustainable. US MSOs are kind of topping out here in terms of their quarterly sales. Acreage actually had a decline in quarterly sales. And the reason why I think that is because the prices just aren't sustainable. I was in Vegas, I was in Florida within the last 6 months, and they're charging $15 to $20 USD for 1 single gram, right? And that's just insane, right? There's some companies in Canada that are doing it for $2 or $5, right? And that's Canadian, not US dollars. So if a Canadian goes to the US and buys one G, right? That's like over $20 Canadian by the time you factor in the difference in the dollar value, right? From American to Canadian dollar. And what I think is happening is I know a lot of people in the US and they're reverting back to the black market because it's the similar thing happened in Canada, and then they had to lower their prices, right? And now we're seeing multiple retailers like High Tide and Value Buds dropping their prices. You can get 28 Gs for less than $60 Canadian now, right? So again, US MSOs are in for a rude awakening and some harsh competition if LPs get to sell north of the border, which I do believe will happen. And he does state in the video that he only owns True Leave and Green Thumb, which I think are great companies. Obviously, they haven't been spared, and they've been a victim of this brutal 15-month bear market that we've been in MJ. But he's obviously a traditional investor. This YouTuber, right, Daniel Pronk, he mentions Warren Buffett in his video, so he's using traditional valuation metrics to value these companies. And I've said time and time again, let me know in the comments below if you agree with me. It doesn't really make sense to use traditional like price to earnings valuation metrics. I mean, you can use that as one of your metrics, but you can't really go by that as your end all be all, because we're talking about an industry that's going to be growing to $100 billion in the US over the next decade. And exceeding 200 billion in the next globally in the next decade, right? So it's a huge industry, and we aren't even federally legal in the US yet. So it's hard to really look at these traditional valuation metrics and give them so much weight behind them because we just haven't seen the growth yet. There's still some countries in the world that you get the death penalty just for simple possession. So there's just so much growth. Like imagine trying to evaluate the company Amazon in the early days in dial-up when they were only selling books, right? There was so much there that we didn't really know, and the industry was so burgeoning and evolving that it would just have been impossible, right? And same thing with MJ, I think. Again, it's going to be extremely difficult to value these companies at the moment because a lot of companies are gearing up for US legalization, specifically, the LPs, because that's a huge growth opportunity for them, right? And then in the video, he turns to, like I said, bashing HEXO, not the first, won't be the last. And with reason, they have had some issues, but what MJ company hasn't, right? Over the last year, right? Everybody's always a critic, but we can always find flaws and positives. But again, he kind of fixates on the negatives, and he kind of sounds like this deep dive article. I think he read this deep dive article, actually. He goes on to say that they only have about one quarter left of cash burn, which they actually only had about 14 million left. I have to correct him there. Which would be even less than one quarter. But I think he read this and he said he saw the deep dive and it says has less than 2 months cash remaining. I did some videos on this as well with regards to this ATM, so check those out. But I did a huge deep dive, no pun intended, and investigation and research into that, and hopefully cleared that up for everybody. But he mentions that HEXO is down 96%. Well, let's just take a look at Tilray. Tilray's down over 93% from last year's high at February 2021. Let's take a look at CGC. And then we'll take a look at some of our US MSOs as well. So CGC is down over 90%. Let's take a look at Green Thumb. Now, keep in mind, they are holding up better, the US MSOs, because of the fact that they're not listed on US major exchanges like the NYSE or the NASDAQ. It's easier to manipulate the LPs because there's more dollar value. But we're down 70% on GTII. Let's take a look at TrueLeave. So TrueLeave, since February highs last year, we're down 75%. That's not that much better when again, he's bashing HEXO, saying it's down 96%, but Tilray's down over 96%. Tilray still has a market cap of I think $3 or $4 billion, and they're down that much. That's significantly, right? Like that's huge. And again, he goes on to talk about that HEXO is going to dilute to keep the lights on, and that no lender will lend the money. And keep in mind, this video was he just put this out yesterday, and he says that no lender will give them money. Well, have you been clearly the only research he did, and again, not knocking him, but he's clearly biased, in my opinion. And Daniel, if you're listening, I'd love to have you on and we can kind of set the record straight and we can kind of have thoughtful discourse. I think our audiences would really like that as well. But I had to come on and correct this because it seems like you only did research on the stocks you're investing in, but you didn't do any research on HEXO before you started to bash them. So the issue that I have with this is it seems like you're not being intellectually honest, or you just completely, you just completely turned a blind eye to the fact that HEXO had a deal with Tilray and you didn't do any research. So I'll read it for you. Tilray Brands announces definitive agreement with HEXO Corp related to HEXO's senior secured convertible note. So there you go. He said that they wouldn't be able to find a lender. Well, Tilray Brands partnered with them financially and commercially. HEXO is actually going to be producing some products for Tilray, and it's going to create $80 million in savings. This isn't just a regular loan from a lender. It's going to create partnership synergies, and HEXO is actually going to be producing some products for Tilray. So it's not like they're just going to the bank and getting money. They actually have a partner, and it's going to create synergies and cost savings of about $80 million between the two companies. And if we just go to here to HEXO's latest financials, if we just go to press releases, go back to March, and go to their financials, you can see here that after the deal closes with Tilray, that is going to give HEXO's financial condition position to significantly strengthen by a proposed restructuring of the debt with Tilray, allowing for access to approximately $282 million. He didn't mention that. All he said was, they're on verge of bankruptcy or US MSOs are going to come and swoop them up for pennies on the dollar. Well, he didn't mention this. Again, it's just the FUD campaign. I think he must work for Deep Dive or something. I'm just joking, but it just seems like he read this article and took it to, he just thought that was the end all be all and, took it to heart and ran with it. But if you look here, after the deal closes, HEXO's going to have $102 million in unrestricted cash, which will get them by for many, many quarters. And then they also got $180 million backstop through Chaos Capital and Partners. So again, that's $282 million. Their current market cap is less than $220 million. So that's a huge opportunity, right? And when Tilray, yes, this is going to be a little bit of a dilution. Yes, it's going to increase the market cap. But overall, they have a lender, right? That was just false information that he was spreading, that no lender is going to want to give them. Well, they already have a lender. It's Tilray. The deal's expected to close this month. And I could go on, but I won't. But I want to move on to something else. So why, if LPs are so terrible and these MSOs are going to come in and swoop them up for pennies on the dollar, and they're the bee's knees, why are all these LPs getting partnerships with big alcohol and tobacco companies? Case in point, Constellation Brands to invest 5 billion CAD into Canopy Growth to establish transformative global position and alignment. Let's take a look at Constellation Brands, a Fortune 500 company. Is an American producer. So why are all these American-based companies partnering with LPs? Let me know in the comments below. Might they know something that we don't? Might LPs get to sell into U.S. at some point? It certainly looks that way. We know Canopy has a partnership with Acreage, Tilray again with MedMen, right? So the writing's on the wall, in my opinion. Moving on, HEXO partners with Molson Coors JV to form trusts. Who's Molson Coors? An American-Canadian multinational drink and brewing company, headquartered in Chicago, another American company. Why are they partnering with LPs? I also did a video on the new partnership with HEXO. It's going to be revealed in the coming weeks, and it's going to be Molson Coors caliber. I believe it's going to be Kellogg's Canada, but we'll see. But my money is on Kellogg's, but that's another partnership that he didn't mention. And we know it could be royalty-based, and what if it has some sort of cash component to it, some cash injection? And, you know, with the royalties, they pay back the loan to the CBG partner with the royalties, and then once the loan is paid off, they get to collect the profit from the royalties, right? So there's lots of options. But again, didn't mention that. Altria becomes largest shareholder in Kronos Group. Okay, so this is a big tobacco company. Altria Group, known as Philip Morris Companies, is an American corporation, one of the world's largest producers of tobacco and cigarettes. Okay, so why aren't all these MSOs striking all these massive deals, right? Seems to me that they believe that we're going to be in the South going across the border in due time. British American Tobacco, up stake in Organigram, another example. Who is British American Tobacco? They're a multinational company that manufactures and sells cigarettes, and they are British, and they're headquartered in London, England. We know that LPs have a huge head start on the international markets. And something I want to bring up again is the CapEx expenditures, right? Once all these MSOs have to expand nationally, that's going to take. So you can't really look at the sheer numbers right now again and use these profitability traditional valuation metrics, because it's not factoring in the competition. It's not factoring in CapEx requirements to expand nationally. These are going to be huge undertakings and challenges for MSOs. Again, I own MSOs, I own LPs, I own retailers, I own ETFs. I'm just being real. I come on here and I tell the truth. I'm not looking for, like a lot of YouTubers, I'm not looking for clickbait. I'm not looking to tell you what you want to hear. I'm telling you what you need to hear, and I'm giving you my honest opinion. Let me know if you agree with me. And also, I just don't think that, talking, he called HEXO a crappy company and other words. I just don't think that's the right way to shill your company. He already said that he was invested in Green Thumb and Trulieve. I don't think you need to call other companies crappy to make yours look good. I think that's the wrong way to go about it, especially when you didn't give all the facts. You left out a key component, which was that Tilray deal that I had up there earlier. That's a big deal. So again, it's either intellectual dishonesty or just lack of understanding and intelligence and research. You don't know what you don't know. But that was a huge thing that I found just downright incorrect and not something we shouldn't do, right? We shouldn't. All this tribalism has to stop. I even did a couple of videos on this and the tribalism. There's going to be winners and losers both sides of the border. Let's be real. And again, why would all these huge Fortune 500 companies and American companies and multinational companies partner with LPs? I'm going to park my pennies next to their dollars, right? These billion-dollar corporations. I'm not going to be listening to some, you shouldn't listen to me either. Don't listen to us middle-aged, men. I'm not sure how old this guy looks. He looks like he's in his mid-20s. I'm in my mid-30s, but, I know enough to know that this isn't financial advice. Do your own research. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to him. But I'm looking at what these big multinational billion-dollar companies are doing, and I'm parking my pennies next to their dollars. You can do what you want to do. This isn't financial advice. It's for entertainment purposes only. And again, LPs have a huge international advantage. And then once we see the U.S. legalize, it's going to be a huge growth opportunity there as well, right? And he also mentions Coca-Cola in the video and compares the valuation to Coca-Cola, to Walmart, and TruLeaf. Well, who do we know that Coca-Cola is partners with? Coca-Cola partners with Molson Coors for U.S. launch of Topo Chico Hard Seltzer. HEXO just launched a seltzer, an MJ seltzer. They also partnered with Coca-Cola has another drink with Molson Coors. So if I had to guess, I would say Molson Coors and HEXO have the best opportunity to land a partnership with Coca-Cola. And I know everybody's going to be like, oh, not this again, somebody pumping another Coca-Cola partnership. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying we know Coca-Cola is looking into it, and we know Jones Soda just launched Mary Jones Soda. So is the writing on the wall? Pepsi also had trialed hemp CBD in Germany. We know Germany's about a year ago, and Germany's set to legalize possibly this year. Guys, why were all of these huge major LPs getting all these huge major partnerships with these big alcohol and tobacco companies if LPs are just going to dwindle away and go bankrupt or get scooped up by pennies on the dollar by these U.S. MSOs? Let me know in the comments below if you agree with me. Again, this wasn't any disrespect to Daniel. This is just me coming on, being real with you guys, giving you my honest opinion, and me being genuinely honest with you guys. I'm not looking like most YouTubers. I'm not looking for views. I'm on here. My channel will grow at the rate that it's going to grow based on me telling the truth. And I think the internet and the world needs more truth telling. And we just need to drop the tribalism. And Daniel, if you're listening, I'd love to have you on the channel and we can have a in-depth conversation. I think our viewers would really appreciate that. All right, going to end it there. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with me, disagree with me. Were you surprised at the fact that he started bashing HEXO? Were you not surprised? Let me know. Always love hearing from you guys, so continue the conversation in the comments below. Really looking forward to hearing what everybody has to say. If you could, smash the like on your way out. Help support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're new here, subscribe and take the bell. You'll be notified on any future updates. Thanks for joining us again on The Pursuit of Wealth, and we'll see you on the next video.